Welcome back to My Mom Always Says mini podcast. I'm Erin and
I'm Geneva.
And I am a 42-year-old married one son. And this is my mom.
I am a 78-year-old mother of
two daughters. And this is our second episode, and we're excited to be back. We hope that you guys enjoyed the intro episode, getting to know us a little bit more. And today we're going to be diving into my mother's childhood and my childhood. And the reason I wanted to go into it is because I would like to say that my childhood was a great childhood. I got to experience a lot of different things. I got to do a lot of different things at the expense of my mom. She didn't complain. She just did it. And I love the way I grew up. So I wanted to dive into how she became the mother that she became based on her childhood. And then we'll talk more about my childhood based on how she grew up. So Mom, give a little intro about where you grew up, where you came from, all that good stuff.
It started off in Alabama, but when I was 5, we moved to Georgia following my dad's boss down there. He was working in pulpwood, and we lived in the southeastern part of Georgia, Fargo, Georgia. It's 50 miles from Valdosta, Georgia. That's really where I spent my useful childhood. But then I moved to Adel when I was in 9th grade, Adel, Georgia. Mm-hmm. But my childhood consisted of just running around playing. In those days, I could walk a mile to the store by myself.
Let's stop right there. Those days, you were born in what year?
I was born in 1947.
What time frame are you saying those days? The 50s?
Well, I would say that those days were the late 50s when I was about 10 or so on up. So that was the time when a child could just do anything by herself. Mm-hmm. And you walked along a permanent highway, but nobody ever bothered the children or anything. And we could run and hunt walk in the woods, and go out and play in the woods. And nobody would, and we were afraid of snakes and all, but we knew to look for the snake.
So you thought at
10 and 11, but nothing ever happened. I guess God was on our side because nothing ever happened to us. And my sister is still alive today, and I'm still alive. Yeah. Well, no, I'm still alive today. I'm talking on this.
So your sister Gloria, my aunt, most favorite aunt, she's 3 years.
Yes, 3 years young.
So she's my Gloria is 75. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your mom and your dad.
Yes.
So your mom had you.
My mom had me when she was 16, mm-hmm. And but I grew up with a lot of love in my grandparents, and my mother had 6 sisters, and they all doted. I was the first grandchild, mm-hmm. And they all doted around me, and so I grew up. As a matter of fact, for the longest time, you would have thought that Gloria and I were the only 2 people in the world. Mm-hmm. That's just how I felt about things from the standpoint of love and all. Yeah, my grandmother never hit me. Mm-hmm. My grandfather never hit me. Mm-hmm. My mother...
Did you deserve to be hit?
No, I was just a great child, you could say. But I didn't grow up with people cursing children and fussing unnecessarily at children. Even when I did something wrong, they would not fuss real tough at me.
Yeah, that's probably why you were like that.
But my mom, right, that's mm-hmm. why I was like that with you. But my mom, she was the only one that would do the talking. Even my father, I grew up with a stepfather. He never hit me. Yeah. The whole time I was growing up, my stepfather never hit me. Mm-hmm. And so... I grew up with that thought in mind. That was certain things that I was going to take from a man either, mm-hmm. because I grew up in that type of environment.
I want you to dive into what your mom was like.
Oh, my mom was very loving.
Because I didn't get to meet my grandma. She died when I was
5 months old.
5 months old, so I don't have any memory of her.
She was a very loving person. She was a lot like me. I don't mean in the loving part. Mm-hmm. She died at 53. But when she was 9 years old, I began to see a difference in my mom in the sense of she should be talking to herself in the kitchen, arguing. She argued out and so forth. And I knew that there was something, even though I was a little child, but I knew there was something wrong. Mm-hmm. And so it got worse. But even with her mentally capacity going down, mm-hmm. She still didn't see these people beat on children now, and all. She do that to us.
So she actually diagnosed, like the doctors back in the day, did they diagnose people like they do now?
Did not, and she wouldn't take her medicine right. She had high blood pressure. She take her medicine right and all, and so that's why she died at 53 before really lived.
Yeah.
Because at 53 you really haven't lived.
Right.
That
Right.
partly my mother. As well as my mother, because I had to fend for myself.
Yeah, and when did you start fending for yourself? Though?
Man up, I just one of those little kids that knew right from wrong, and never. Well, I wouldn't do too wrong, Right, right. And I tried to keep Gloria from doing certain things too. Gloria, to tell you today, you're just that type of child. And then I make money when I school because I love basketball, and so I would play basketball with the boys because there weren't many girl basketball players. So I play basketball with the boys, and on some occasions while I was playing basketball, I would do their math work, and they would pay me a nickel a dime. but you could buy pop with a nickel.
Yeah, exactly.
So right.
Your parents didn't. You said your parents didn't have a ton of money, right?
They had money that they had. Dad was the type that bring the money home to Mama every week, and Mama would spend it up during the week until the next week.
Yeah.
And so that meant that we had very little money.
Right.
But and then when I grew up a little older, I would sew for people, and I would sew on my hands, machine, hem and fix things, and then that would be money for me.
Yeah. Left Georgia when you were 18.
Real fast.
With smoke behind you.
That's right.
So you being from a small town like that, caught up in living in those small towns, and they can't see beyond those small towns. You see beyond that.
Because I read a lot. I read different types of books, and those books would take me to faraway places, and I knew that was a better life, and I worked toward that better life. Get involved with boys or anything, at the time, because my eye was on getting out of Georgia, and I was going to join the Air Force, but Sarah sent for me.
Okay, so you ended up in Chicago, you started working, and we'll go into your first job in the next episode, but you were 18, 19 years old.
That's right.
And what did you do for education?
I got a job. I paid for a factory job. I paid I think it was $58. You could pay for jobs at that time. So I paid for this factory job. And I like to look a certain way. So I would dress up in better clothes and go to this factory job. Then I would take off my better clothes and put on my factory clothes.
Yeah, you were about to be caught slipping on your way to work. Yeah. I know that they grew up, they were poor, and she made a way out of nothing. Nobody gave you anything.
No.
Nobody gave you anything.
Well, they always told me I was smart. I was true or not, I believed it.
Right. So you ended up in Chicago, created your life in Chicago. You had 3 children, one of whom passed away, Christy. She was 3.
2.
2. So I only know from Christy visual images, pictures, very cute little girl. But unfortunately never got to meet her. So then Dana came along, and then in your late 30s, I came along.
Not in my late 30s. I was 35 and 36 the next week.
So what's late 30s? What's late 30s? Face it, late 30s. I slid on up through there. And then, boom, then that's when your story really begins, when the children come along, right? No?
Well,
you were somebody before that, I guess.
That's right.
And that's the part that I feel like we always lack with our parents. Like, we somebody before us, but it feels like they weren't. So my most fondest memories of my mom coming up, I remember my mom turned 40. I remember she had a 40th birthday at work. I remember when you turned 40 years old.
Yes.
Why are you looking so mad? I mean, my fault. I remember that vividly because they had over the hill balloons everywhere, and I thought 40 was. And I thought 40 was old. I was like, and I was 4. But I remember that so vividly. Like, dang, used to come hard for 40 back in the 80s.
They were just kidding me about being 40.
Yeah, but did you 40 transition for you though? Like, did you? Because I felt like for me, when I turned 40, I got kind of a little sad. Not, I'm happy to be alive, but I was like, dang, like I'm
too.
Yeah.
I worse at 40 than I did at 50.
That's what somebody else. I read people saying that. Yeah, like kind of. But so I do remember that, and I remember like preschool. I remember you, and I remember my mother always dropped. I remember you dropping me off at preschool. She always, for the most, you dropped me off at school.
Mm-hmm.
I took the school bus home when I got older. Yeah, no, school bus home the whole time. Because you couldn't pick me up. You were at work.
Well, I got Dana the car.
My dad was when Dana was 16. I'm talking about, what did I do from kindergarten?
Well, you didn't take yourself home. I don't know what you did.
I was talking about the school bus.
School bus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I took the school bus. And
I thought you were talking about CTA bus.
No, I'm taking no Chicago Transit. Well, remember that time Dana did that's a whole different story when Dana put me on the bus to go visit her friend. And I was little. Anyway, so I remember I had a babysitter. Her name was Lula. She was an older lady. Mm-hmm. And my mother, back in that day, because you met Lula at the laundromat, you said?
No.
You met her through somebody?
I met Lula at the senior citizen place.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And so she watched me after school. And then, and I remember those parts of my childhood very vividly. Then I remember us moving to our house when I was 9. And we thought it was the biggest house ever. It was across town because we lived in one place and then we moved to another.
Yeah, it was
place.
Only 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, but it felt like I remember me and my best friend Chanel doing cartwheels in the living room because we were like, it's so big. My mom still owns that house to this day, so that was many years ago. Mm-hmm. And then the things I remember most about my childhood is that my mother was a yes person. Because baby, let me tell you, every Saturday we used to get up. You know how kids used to do chores. We was at the mall.
We did. We
were at the mall. Express 579. Dana used to love 579.
Yeah.
Express. Mm-hmm. That was our store. But that was where we were. So this lady liked to shop. And I remember I used to like planning parties. And I remember,
and you were good at it.
Yeah, and mom used to go along with it. You remember that time she rented a school bus for me, y'all, and took some friends to Six Flags? You remember that? And you had a couple parents that helped chaperone. Now, do you remember that? We rented a school bus on a weekend. Yeah, you did that. And then, like, y'all, mom, I just always, now that I'm as an adult, I'm looking like she never showed frustration. I know you had to be frustrated with all the things you were doing. And you never, like, what I appreciated about you, and especially as an adult, I look back, I'm like, you seemed aggravated or put those stressors on me or Dana if you were stressed. I know you had to because you were human living in this world.
Right.
A single parent. She made the recitals. Mm-hmm. She was on the PTA. Mm-hmm. I can't even find time to shout this PTA. I try to find time to be on the local school council. We had very active parents, but she used to be on that. And she just always made time.
I traveled with you when you were out of town on your school class.
Yeah, and I'm just like, the job that she had, the career that she had, she always made time. And that is the one thing that we got stuff, but I remember the most vividly is the time, because you trade that in for anything. And I remember she used to come home from work and be like, okay, get her in. We're going to go to Red Lobster.
Sure did.
She was money bags back then, y'all. So she was good. She had a good salary. So she used to be like, we're going to go to Rainbow Ice Cream. So it's an ice cream store in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Go get a friend. We're going to go to Red Lobster.
And Dana would take a friend, too.
Dana would take a friend, and we just be at Red Lobster.
And friends would be happy.
Yeah, they'd be eating. Yeah. That's just the lady she was today, but when she was big money bags back then, she used to show it.
Well, I'm little money bags.
You little money bags now, but you don't have the money when you needed the money.
Right.
But yeah, I remember that part of my childhood. Again, like I said, there was stuff, but that time, man, and that's why that's so important for me and how I raised Juju, because I know that is the things that's gonna stick with him the most, beyond the video games, the shoes, all that other stuff.
Right,
that he gets.
right. Mm-hmm.
The time and love that I showed him
as he's growing up.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so, but you didn't. Would you say? I know you had the love, but you didn't necessarily have the time from your parents. So where did you get that? Was that something that you said, "I'm just want to do this"?
No. My grandparents. I had my grandparents and aunts, and all of them showed me love and forth. And then the neighbors, nice little girls to them, not they considered nice little girl, and then by my mom being sickly, I know the neighbors looked upon me with compassion.
Yeah. In our society now too.
Right. And then I'm a compassionate person.
Yeah.
Period.
You are
In most cases, and
fair.
I try to be fair. That's get that from.
Sums up my childhood. From being a child to like shopping and doing all that stuff, and then we transitioned into the teen years, which I feel like were pretty easy for you. They were pretty easy for me. I don't know, but well, we need to talk about this in another episode. We're gonna talk about my mom's parenting style of the teen and my parenting style of my now preteen, and talk about that on the next episode. So make sure you join us, and if there's anything you want to see, make sure you leave them in the comments, and any topics or anything you want us to discuss, make sure you leave them, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.